Chances are, you know what the Calamity mod is. I mean, my channel character is literally based heavily off a character from the mod, so I hope you know what Calamity is. And if you do know what Calamity is, which you most likely do, you should still be able to enjoy this video, unless I go through a whole lot of unforeseeable problems, which then makes me write a lazy script, which then leads to... Okay, enough of that. What is Calamity? It's awesome, that's what it is. It's been the largest and most popular T-Mod Loader mod for over 4 years, constantly updating and add tons of content that brings the mod to a whole new level every major update. Weapons, bosses, biomes, blocks, tools. There is so much added by Calamity that increases the depth of every part of the game. Well, except fishing. Fishing is the same, but it's just made not as long. There is so much content in Calamity that even after my 1,000-ish hours playing Calamity, I've only used about half the weapons. There are a lot of them though. And despite there being so much content, it's still all very unique and interesting. Like the biomes, they each have a unique theme with music and textures to perfectly match. Like the Abyss, for example. Its music has a constant ominous tone, paired with a sense of perilousness, like anything can come out and utterly destroy you at any moment. The feeling of unease from the music only gets much higher the deeper you go into the Abyss. At the lowest level, the music becomes even more ominous and empty, giving you a feeling of, well, emptiness and danger as you float down into the vast abyss. Of course, the Abyss is the biggest and most fleshed out of the biomes, but the rest of the biomes have extremely fitting music and themes as well. The bosses seem to be one of the larger focuses of the mod, considering there are 23 of them, not counting mini-bosses. They all each have unique and intricate design around all of their aspects, like their music, textures, and attacks, and each provide new challenges to overcome. Not to mention the last boss battle in the mod is notorious for being long and difficult, making it one of the most rewarding things to defeat in the entirety of Terraria. Of course, Terraria wouldn't be the same game without weapons, and with Calamity, there are so many weapons that subclasses actually become viable. You can play using only spears, only flamethrowers, yo-yos, true melee, short swords, boomerangs, flails, bows, guns, wands, magic guns, spell tomes, summons, bombs, sentries, boomerangs, but rogue, daggers, spiky balls, javelins, and even a set of classless weapons that alone might let you get... Oh, this shouldn't be here. But yeah, even a set of classless weapons that on their own might let you get past Providence. Don't take my word for that last one though, it might not actually be possible. You might think though, if there are so many weapons, then they probably all suck. Unfortunately for your pessimistic attitude, they all function largely uniquely from each other. They are all also very fun to use, especially later into the game, when you can either craft weapons from long crafting trees that spit out a variety of projectiles, or you can craft items from fewer materials that often have less projectiles but more interesting mechanics. Now, Calamity is definitely my favorite mod. I'm sure you figured that out. There are a few things I don't like about it though. The biggest thing is being the expectation of maximum gear. Now, this is probably a good idea since people use so many mods to trivialize gaining items anyways, so designing the mod around the player having max gear is pretty much the only choice. I think that's a problem with how people play modded Terraria as a whole, which I'm sure many of you already know, and I don't want to get into it much because I've already made 2 poorly designed videos on the topic. Other than that though, I can't really think of anything I don't like about the mod. Just the small stuff actually, like a few times when boss projectiles are too hard to see, or how the first biome to be added to the mod is now the smallest of the Calamity biomes, both literally and in terms of content. Oh, another thing I really like about the mod are the tiles it adds. Calamity has some of the coolest looking blocks and furniture I've seen in Terraria. Although I don't really build much in Terraria, so I don't seek that sort of stuff, but I would be surprised if there was a mod that added as much cool decoration as Calamity does. There isn't a single or group of mods that comes anywhere close to adding the amount of content that Calamity does. Of course, there are like several people working. What is the camera doing? Whatever. There are several people working on the mod. Something like 20? It's hard to tell. The only source I could find for who works on the mod might be outdated. Calamity is pretty great, but you know what's also great? This end screen.